Manual safeties suck. At least that is for self-defense handguns that you mean to put into a concealed carry use. The absence of a manual safety should be one of your key requirements for getting such a firearm, because the ultimate goal of such a firearm is to put rounds on target in an expedient manner should the occasion arise. And the less that you have to deal with, the better. This was a great idea 100 years ago when that was the best safety John Browning could come up with, but we have a lot better designs today, and that includes safeties that you don't have to mess around with when adrenaline is pumping through your body and you're trying to decide what to do. I've thought this for a long time. I've been around guns my whole life, but it really solidified this in my mind when I actually took a 4-day defensive handgun course where I ran multiple drills, and every drill the instructors would explain for people that had manual safeties what to do with them throughout it. And my goodness, there were so many steps to each drill that I was very thankful that I was not carrying a gun with a manual safety. If you don't believe that this is true, go take a 4-day defensive handgun course yourself and you will find that I'm right. You need to have a gun that is simple to operate, especially if you are not the type of person that is using a gun every day in your professional life. If you're like me, you're just an average individual person and you have other things to do in your life that have nothing to do with firearms, so keep it simple. So let's talk about what happens in a self-defense scenario when you're behind the action-reaction time curve and you need to make that shot. What do you have to do with this piece of equipment to save your life? Most people that have concealed carry permits have taken perhaps a 1-day seminar with some very basic shooting that I could do with my eyes closed and pass, and that's all they've done, and they have no real clue how to use this weapon effectively to save their own ass. So here's what you have to do, just a quick rundown for the uninitiated. The first thing that you have to do is identify the threat. Identify that a threat exists and then localize the threat to the person that's actually creating the threat to you or to someone that you care about. And the next thing that you have to do is decide that the threat that they're presenting justifies deadly force. Are they just spitting on someone and or spitting or cussing versus are they drawing a weapon on you? Is it worth everything that you have worked to obtain in your life and your relationship with your family to pull this weapon out to defend your life? Okay? Because those are the legal ramifications that you need to be aware of. If I pull this weapon out and point it at someone, I am assaulting that person. Okay? If I am going to assault someone, I damn well better be legally justified to do so. Okay? So step 1, identify the threat. It exists. This is where it is. Step 2, does it actually justify deadly force? Okay? So if I've decided that yes, I need to be pulling out my gun and presenting deadly force, now I have to remove my concealing garment, move it out of the way, obtain a grip, a firing grip on that firearm, okay? And I have to deactivate whatever active retaining devices exists on my holster, whether that be a thumb strap, Blackhawk Serpa system, Bianchi has their finger lock, Uncle Mike has their reflex system, whatever it is, I need to deactivate to pull this firearm out of the holster. Now I have to clear the barrel from that holster, bring it up to the center line, and get a two-hand grip if this is what I'm going to do. Obviously there are other methods in terms of how you're going to point the gun, but this is the most common. Get a two-handed grip and begin to stage that trigger as I bring my firearm onto target, get some sort of sight alignment, the precision of which is based upon time that I have available and the distance to my target. I'm going to be trying to obtain some sort of sight picture, again based on time and distance to target, and pull that trigger. All while probably moving and while I have adrenaline pumping through my bloodstream. And I need to be doing this effectively within about 1.5 seconds because I'm trying to get ahead of that action-reaction time curve. Okay? Now, if you think that all sounded really simple and easy to do without preparation and practice, you're stupid. Okay? Now, and if you think that it's smart for the average person to add into all of that stuff that you have to do, let's worry about a stupid manual safety on top of it when my life depends on it, you got to be crazy, okay? Now, maybe you're a SWAT team member, or you're a SEAL Team 6 member, and you do this day in, day out, every day of your life, and you get paid to do it. Well, that's great. You can turn this video off, okay? But for the average citizen, this is stupid to have. This is an antiquated feature that was great 100 years ago when you had a bunch of pistol arrows running around. I absolutely love the 1911. This is not a hatred on the 1911 video. But you will never see me put this into a defensive use unless all my other firearms are missing in a tragic boat accident, okay? I love this gun. I bought it because the vendor bought 1,500 of them and got it dirt cheap and was able to pass the savings along to me. And I take it out occasionally to the range and have a good time with it. It's one of the few guns that's not loaded in my home. Okay? So, think about what you're doing. There's a lot better options out there. How do we know there's better options out there? It's because of this gun right here. Gaston Glock was a freaking genius, okay? Here's a guy that never built a gun before in his life, and look what he created. The 9mm version of this, okay? This safety system has been proven over the decades to the point that the majority of police officers in the United States are carrying this very gun, Glock 22 or perhaps 23 or 17 or 19, but at any rate a Glock, and it's in use all over the world. It has become the AK-47 of the handgun world. It works when you want it to, and it doesn't go bang accidentally. You have to pull this trigger to disengage all those internal safeties. As soon as you let your finger up off of this trigger, all of those safeties inside become re-engaged automatically. I need a drink. So, you don't need a manual safety. This gun beats this gun any day of the week for defensive use. Got it? So let's talk about people that throw out these ideas of why I'm wrong, why this gun beats this gun, why this device right here is necessary. People say, well, I practice all the time and I'm used to it. Well, if that's true, great. Maybe you're in the elite that I was just talking about, but don't BS yourself, because if you BS yourself, the prize for second place in a gunfight is a dirt nap, okay? Don't be the person that gets killed out of stupidity because they think they're good at this, even though they didn't practice for the last year. You know, there are people running around with SIG's little 380 version of a 1911 and all these little mini Kimbers and all this that have manual safeties that don't practice worth a damn, okay? And they're just setting themselves up for failure. So much can go wrong with a gunfight, even when you do everything you can do to prepare. Why would you intentionally set yourself up with something that can cause the other guy to win, and it's something that you can change from the outset, okay? Come on now. So another thing, people say, well, if someone grabs my gun, well, you know, maybe they don't know how to work the safety, and then that'll save my ass. Well, guess what? All the bad guys out there are thinking the same thing about you and your manual safety on your gun. Maybe you'll forget it and they'll be able to win the fight, okay? Why not instead have effective concealment, choose a gun that doesn't have a 5-inch long barrel, that you can actually conceal better, you know, that you can actually set yourself up to win with, and that doesn't have a manual safety. Here's the one that I carry all the time, here's a little backup gun I have, 380, but neither of these have manual safeties. Set yourself up to win, okay? And the last argument that I hear is, oh, well, if my kids get a hold of the gun, well, they might not deactivate the manual safety, and then if they pull the trigger, oh, well, they might save themselves. Well, if you let your kids get a hold of a gun, if you haven't taken the responsibility to make sure your kids don't get a hold of your guns, well, then you're being a bad parent, and you haven't taken the responsibility that you need to take on for yourself. Okay? I don't know about you, but when I was a kid, I loved buttons. I loved switches. I loved playing with the remote and all that, because I just love to push this kind of stuff around all day long. Okay? Don't hide the gun from your kids. Lock it up from your kids until they are of such an age that they're able to respect this type of equipment. allow them, and at that point you can allow them to handle the guns in your presence after you have unloaded them and check them visually and physically. Make sure there's nothing in there. Then you can allow them to handle them, and all of their curiosity will either go away or they'll just fall in love with the gun but respect you and know that you allow them to see it, so why would they see it without you? Alright, think about it. Come on. Once you've done all that, practice, practice, practice as much as you can within the constraints of your lifestyle and everything else you have going on. Excuse me. Learn your firearms battery of arms, and please, by God, take a defensive handgun course so you can learn just how much you need to learn and get better at your firearms so that you can protect yourself and your loved ones, okay? Thanks for watching. Be safe and be prepared.